Yeah, so we right here, Crenshaw and Slauson. Take a walk with me. I'm gonna just walk through the lot with you and talk real quick. Yeah, so you know, originally we had this location right here. It was called Slauson Tees. We didn't have these two corners of this third space. We was operating out of this space right here. You know, my brother had, you know, caught a case, went down for a few years. So we ended up losing this space. When he came home, you know, he did like 3 years with 80%. And when he came home, you know, he had a little money saved up. I had a couple dollars when he touched down. We put our bread together. And the first thing he said is, I want to get this spot again. You know, I want to get back where we was at. And at first I'm like, man, you know, we got so much going on with the music. Do you want to be right here? And he like, you know, it's important that we, you know, keep what we had going and also, you know, execute what we started, finish what we started.
Yeah, year two it has the basketball theme, full court press. So what does that, you know, mean? Putting the pressure on so that they're really like awake and aware of the world around them. You know, not just having vision for a short period of time, but being able to see the whole experience in front of you. You know, everything's coming at you, so you need to be ready, you know, no matter what. And so the idea behind some of the workshops were to prepare the young men to be able to encounter and handle whatever was coming their way.
Think about the motivation going into year two. It actually draws me back to, again, the end of year one, the energy that was present after the very first one, and we saw the success of the event. We saw how many people came out, the coverage we were able to get on media outlets, and you know, that high from that event was still present. And going forward, we knew we wanted to keep the momentum going, but we knew that we wanted to create something that was going to get better every year. We didn't want it to be a stagnant program. It was something that we wanted to improve every year that we did it.
I thought it was great. It was you know, from the first summit that the guys put together with Mr. Morton as the keynote speaker, I was immediately blown away as I volunteered that year. You know, one of the things that I think about is not wanting to rock the boat as like that new member, wanting to screw things up or mess something up. So it was a little overwhelming, I would say, at first, but I feel like we all, you know, the guys are really welcoming, knew a lot of these guys growing up and everything as well. So it was great. In some ways, some folks would see it as pressure. You know, I immediately saw it as, all right, you're doing exactly what it is that you need to be doing. You know, because like some of the other guys we all talk about, we didn't have a lot of these experiences growing up. So we really just kind of run off of that. You know, what didn't we have? You know, mixing that with what are some things that we're not seeing, or what are some things that these youth are going through, or some things that, you know, are in their daily lives, and so giving them that space to do that.
I think other guys on the planning committee to, you know, one up ourselves every year, and I feel like that was important to creating quality programming content for the students and, you know, for the other attendees that came.
I think when we initially got together, the group of us, you know, we had a shared goal in mind to have, you know, just a positive impact on the youth. You know, we just wanted to show them that we sat in the same chairs in the classroom that you sit in. You know, we played ball on the same courts and fields that you played in. A lot of hard work, time, dedication. But I think in the end, you know, the end result, it was all positive and worth it.
say year 2 brought about an interesting pressure. As a member of the committee, I still felt like the outsider, because I felt the guys had a different relationship already, and so I was kind of integrating myself into that. But knowing that we were all there for the same, reason and intention, that pressure was like out the way. It's about the young men that we're going to impact, and we knew we just had to up the ante a little bit and make sure that we were just as engaging as we were in the first year. And hearing the stories of how, the whole summit came to be from, when the members were much younger. I was like, we have to keep raising the bar so that everyone that's going to attend in year 2 and every year after that, make sure that the expectation is met, but we're also raising the bar so that we're not giving them the same old, cookie cutter experience.
I would say we built upon year 1 with year 2. I would say our workshops were real intentional. Myself and James Lightfoot worked on personal branding and knowing your brand, just giving the young brothers some insight on how you portray yourself in the community at all times. Just giving them some tools and some resources, or gems, if you will, on how to navigate, honestly. And it was great because we had more reach in the community with adults as well. I would say having more community impact, having other brothers come in to reach out to the youth and speak to the youth about their experiences. Sitting on the panel with some tough brothers that really went through some hardships and successfully got to where they are now was important to me as well.
If you set that path for your generation, it's important that you do it the right way. I want you guys to soak up, retain information, retain everything that we guys are telling you. Right now, I'm trying to build you back to be king, so that you can be leaders.
You guys are saving lives. This is incredible.
So the group really had to step it up that year. We were trying to figure out how do we have those conversations with these young men, and so we were fortunate enough to be able to connect with Quentin Williams, who was a former FBI agent, and who also had just finished writing a book about how to handle and work with the police and how to survive an encounter with the police. And he had a lot of tips on those different interactions, and part of his experience really gave him the information he needed to be able to give the information for our young people, and I think the conversation went really well. It was kind of put in a position where the young people could ask questions and be engaged in the conversation. But that year, our summit really took it to another level. I think we were able to break up to different groups and be able to talk about, what does it mean to be a young man, an MVP, as well as a king, and be able to, what tools do you need, and how do you present yourself physically, whether it's your attire and your presence in a room. What does it mean to be able to financially sound and be able to be smart with your money and being able to play the game of your financial freedom. We also talked about leadership, and what does leadership look like among your peers. And then you also have that component where you kind of were able to help our young people deal with situations when it came to interacting with police, and understanding that they're part of your community and that you need to be able to work with them, but you also understand because we are black men, our circumstances may not always go as they should, and so we need to figure out how we can survive those encounters. One of the big tips I always took from it was survive the encounter and then deal with everything after that. And so it was really a powerful summit, and I think it really kind of catapulted us to be able to be as successful as we have and reach 5 years.
throughout the years. I mean, when I first saw Build, it was year one, and I wasn't really working with the guys, but I saw what Build, the potential. I saw the potential in Build and what they were providing these students, and it was something that I wanted to get a part of and wanted to be a part of. I'm really close with Chad and some of the members of Build, so I felt like what they were providing in terms of leadership, a role model for a lot of these kids in Springfield, I thought that was ideal. And that's something that as a youth growing up in Springfield I wish I had. So to see that, and then eventually now to work with these guys and see the professionalism and the passion that they bring to Springfield and to these kids, it's contagious. And it's been great being a part these last couple months of building with these guys.
I think it was a time, it was a need for it, given the social climate and events that were taking place at that time. Why not now, in terms of just reaching out to the youth and making them aware of their circumstances and situations that are really out here, you know what I mean? And just how to be prepared at the very least, and how to handle things if they present themselves, So I just think it was imperative that we followed through and delivered on our message to the youth at that time.
Young men from the Springfield area were given some life lessons today. 22 News reporter David McKay spoke with some teens that attended the Constructing Kings Male Youth Summit at Springfield College.
Young men with goals and dreams, ready to take on the world of opportunity.
Become a lawyer, a doctor, or a basketball player.
I want to be on the Today Show one day.
The second annual Constructing Kings Male Youth Summit was held Saturday at the Stitzer YMCA Center on the Springfield College campus. About 75 young men were in attendance. The event is put on by Build, Brothers United to Inspire Lifestyle Development, a group made up of successful professionals that grew up or have ties to the city of Springfield and want to give back to the youth.
Really kind of encouraging to understand who they are and how important they are, and how they'd be able to succeed in life.
Some of the lessons included how kids represent themselves on social media, how you speak to others, how to spend money responsibly, and build your personal wealth.
Don't quit on something, just keep going, because that's your goal, and just never give up.